A review of the Edgenuity lesson, factoring trinomials where a equals 1, and also the second video of factoring trinomials where a equals 1 continued. So when I watched the video, they did this X method, which you can do if you get it or understand it. I'm going to show you kind of like the easy way, and if you prefer, any way that gets you the right answer works for me. So when we are factoring, what we're doing is we are undoing foiling. So when you foil, so remember first, outside, inside, last. You are multiplying it together. What we are going to do is we are going to pull it back out into factored form is what this is called. So that's what we're doing. We're undoing this. We're pulling it back to have two separate binomials there. So if you notice here, the second or the number in these binomials, 3 and 4, when you add 3 and 4, what do you get? The middle term. When you multiply 3 and 4, what do you get? The last term. So when you factor it, all you have to decide is what two numbers multiply to 12 and will add to 7. So like on this one here, what two numbers multiply to make 2 and add to make a positive 3? 2 and 1. 2 times 1 is 2, and then if you add 2 plus 1, you get 3. So that tells you exactly how this factors. It factors into x with a positive 2 and x with a positive 1. And you can always multiply it back out to make sure you've done it correctly. So looking at the second one, we have x squared minus 2x minus 8. So you have to decide what two numbers multiply to make negative 8 and add to make negative 2. So let's say you're stuck. What I would do if I were you is just write out every way to multiply and make negative 8. So you could do 1 times negative 8, negative 1 times positive 8, 2 times negative 4, and negative 2 times positive 4. So those are the ways to multiply and make negative 8. Then just go through your list and figure out which of those add to make negative 2. This one is negative 7. This one is positive 7, 2 and negative 4. That's the winner. That adds to negative 2. So that tells us how to factor it. X with a positive 2, x with a negative 4. Okay, let's look at the next one. We have to multiply to make negative 18 and add to make 7. Again, if you're unsure, write a list. Okay, so then after you've written out all the products, go back through and decide which of those, when I add them, do I get 7? 9 and negative 2 is 7. So this will factor into x with a positive 9 and x with a negative 2. Okay, last one. We have to multiply to make 6 and add to make negative 5. So when you multiply to get a positive number, two things happen. Two things can happen. They're either both positive or they're both negative. So 1 and 6, 2 and 3, those both multiply to make 6. But also negative 1 and negative 6 and negative 2 and negative 3 multiply to make a positive 6. So from there, the ones that add to make negative 5 are here. So x minus 2, x minus 3. If you want, I have a little chart here. It's from my notes from being in school last year. So just as a general, if you have a positive and a positive, the numbers are positive. If you have a negative and a positive here, both the numbers are negative because they multiplied to make a positive, but when you added them, you got a negative. If you have positive then negative, that means they have different signs because they multiplied to make a negative, and the bigger value is positive because it stayed positive. And then if you have two minus signs, what happens is, again, they're opposites. One is positive and one is negative. And then the bigger one is negative because it took away all of the positives.